Welcome, Coach Kizzy with Majestic Life Solution. And, his saying, life be lifing. So what's up, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook?
What's up, you guys? I'm back. I got a little cover on because it's a little cold. Whatever. Hair might be messed up. Might be sticking up. Whatever. But we're gonna quick little talk. Oh, wrong code. Oh man. So, do y'all believe in zodiac signs? What zodiac signs that's meant to be together? Zodiac signs. I never really kind of looked at it like that, but I just know once I just can't be with it. Like same sign as me, we don't get along. And actually, we don't, as a friend, get along, but as in being with a person. So I actually Googled the thing or whatever, and it's an ideal couple, um, have a strong bond, match well, compatible, have fun together, socially active, and just different things. So we're gonna talk about it because, like with me, I know like same times as a friend, but dating or trying to we bump heads. And what it say for me is I never thought about it like that, but I only dated one Leo, and we never bumped heads or well bumped heads or anything like that. But for me, it was the time of my partying days and all that or whatever. So that was me. That was my mess up on that part. Whatever. But a Leo, I don't really know too much about them. I just know like they're fire sign like me. So Aries and Leo is an ideal couple. So Taurus and Cancer have a strong bond. Gemini and Aquarius, they match well. And so forth. I I believe in it a little bit, but then I feel like it's just the person. It's the person. You got to match the same energy as one another in a relationship. To me, that's how I feel. All of it is. It's just according to like scientific type thing or whatever. I I don't know. You just gotta match that person. Like you got to have the same kind of goals in life and not really just the same goals, but kind of have a mind frame of having something that like compatible in doing. Like they probably like your person probably like to go fishing, and you probably like, oh, okay, well, I will go fishing, but I'm just not gonna do certain things in fishing. Like I go fishing, but I'm not gonna touch the fish. I'm not gonna touch it. I'm not gonna take it off the hook. But I do like it's like just off the wall type stuff, like camping. And I keep saying it because I want to go camping. Not why it's cold. It's cold. It ain't even. I don't even know what the degrees outside, but I know it's cold up in here and everything. So I got my big red comfy blanket on that I had at the bus station, and me at the bus station, I made me a house at the bus station. If I'm cold, if I got that blanket, I put that blanket all on top of my head, and I was up under it. Like I made a clubhouse. Like when we was young, we made clubhouse with covers. So we get the broom, we take two brooms or four brooms, and we put all the brooms, the broom mop, whatever, we put them together and put the cover on top of it, and that's your clubhouse, right? So I made me one out. out at the bus station, when I was at the bus station, the train station, whatever you want to call it. Bus goes there too, train go there too. But I made me one with this cover, with the same as that cover, and I was warm until my driver came to take me home. So um, just wanted to get up on here to just say this. I always pick I always pick a person according to your soul, because some people can drain your soul. They can drain it, and your energy and everything. Don't get somebody that 3 days from now, and you already arguing or having a dispute. A dispute. I got a dispute. Having a dispute on something that you know that it's a little argument, but it turns out to be big. And I talked about this before, as in basically you can say, uh, we're talking about Taco Bell. Just say Taco Bell. I'm talking about Taco Bell because I want Taco Bell. Like Taco Bell. So say for instance we at Taco Bell and we get the tacos, and I'm driving and I didn't quite hear the person. I didn't quite hear the person that I'm with. I didn't quite hear them ask for uh, uh, the fire sauce, but I got mild inside and instead because I didn't hear. So when you get back home, you have a big old argument. I'm not saying this happened. I'm just saying I'm just speaking in general. So just say for instance, I didn't hear them. So that means we're gonna be arguing for just something so simple that's gonna turn into a big old argument. And then when that little thing, that little accident, the dispute that happens, that could have been disputed the whole time, which I could have said. Just say for instance, if we was arguing, I could have said, "Well, baby, I didn't hear you, so the only thing that I got was mild sauce." But as a humankind, as us, you know, what we do, we argue about the simple things. We'll talk about, we'll sit there and say, you didn't say you wanted mild sauce. You didn't say that. You didn't say that. But which you could have just said at first, baby, I didn't hear you ask for that. So I got mild sauce instead. Or to turn it around, we could have said, she, or however you talk, could have said, baby, did you remind them? Did you remind them to get the mild sauce? And therefore, that's clarity. That's clarity on making sure that person heard what you were saying. Because when you get back home, it'll be a big old argument because you asked for fire sauce, and I didn't hear that. So to dispute that little argument is to always communicate with one another. When you start communicating well with one another, then you know it'll fall in the right place, right? So don't take a little argument and turn it into a big argument, because when you get home, that argument gonna turn into something totally different. It's gonna turn around a totally different way. Wanna know why? Because you're gonna start bringing up some old stuff. You'll start bringing up some kind of old stuff that not happened. Then y'all gonna have none communication in it, because it's not gonna be communication. It's gonna be yelling. And when yelling starts, that means it's a conflict. And so when you're having a conflict, somebody might be so angry that they want to use force on a person, meaning laying hands, family violence. To prevent that from happening, always have communication with one another and start understanding what each other needs are. So if you already know what their needs are and what they want from Taco Bell, if they always order fire sauce, if they always order fire sauce, that means you should already know if this is your person that you know that you want to be with. If they always ask you, but make sure that they get fire sauce. So when you get to that window, or when you get to that what's called, ma'am or sir, can you make sure you put fire sauce in there? That way, that the little things that count, where a person knows that you understanding them, and that person knows that, okay, they for me, because they remember the little things. You got to remember the little things about a person if you truly want to be with that person. Remember the little things, like if you go to the store, don't be selfish. If you know that they like the candy bar, uh, because I want one right now too. The candy bar, whatchamacallit? It's a candy bar called whatchamacallit. So if you know that they want a candy bar and you come in the house with a Snicker, because you have some people that always want something. When you got something, they want something too. So you have to be mindful, and start thinking about the person that you're with also. Don't just be selfish. Go to the store, go to the corner store and pick up your Snicker. I want one of them too. Pick up a Snicker. And you know that they're gonna ask you, did you even try to think about me get a whatchamacallit? Did you give me a Kit Kat bar? So if you know what they want, just the little things that counts, that shows a person that you really want to be with them. That shows a person that they worthy of being with you, or you worthy of being with them. So it's always the little things. Key term is right now is communication. Second, always know, have in your heart, that your desire, that you know that this person gonna want this. When you come in that house, you can always be like, well, I didn't get you nothing. But when you pull it out and show them, well, baby, I got this. You know what's gonna make them feel like on the inside, that you care. Care don't always mean that you arguing with one another, and just because I used to think that just because they don't argue with me, or they don't show me that they yelling at me, or yo, why you doing this and why you doing it? I thought that meant that they care, but it doesn't. That doesn't mean that. Show a person the little things that you can do for them. It's not always about that you can buy me a Rolls Royce, or you can buy me a Beamer. It's not about that. It's about the little things. So if you in there making you a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, like I'm about to go make me some kind of peanut butter and jelly, whatever I'm making, if you know that they're gonna ask you, well, why you didn't make me one? Why not take the time out? Because if you're in there making something for you, you're not too busy to make something for them. Have room in your heart, if this is your love, if this is your loved one. Have room in your heart to say, you know what? I'm gonna make them one as well. If you're making a salad, if you're making a salad, and they're gonna ask, dang, I'm gonna tell you straight up. That's what I'm gonna say. Dang, you didn't even consider making me something. They're gonna look at you just like that. Dang, you didn't consider making me something. So always be mindful to know that this is what they're gonna like. This is what they're gonna want. So if you know that, put it in your head today and say, I'm truly gonna stick with what I'm sticking with. It gotta be a routine. It gotta be a routine. When two people are trying to work something out, and being in a relationship, a committed relationship, it always had to work both ways. So that means, because I'm the type of person, if I go to the store and I go buy me a pair of shoes, I rather I'd rather go shopping with the person that I'm with. Because if I go buy something and then you be like, oh, okay, it's okay. Take the person that you with you. If you want to buy a pair of shoes and you know, dang, you bought a pair of shoes, where mine at? That is that is a that's something that's a trend that goes it goes in around it goes around that's with any relationship. So you got to be mindful of things that you do in a relationship. If you say that you want to be with that person, you have to be mindful of that. You got to know exactly, okay, well, if I'm going somewhere that is not that is not gonna be that's gonna approve of who that's not gonna approve, they're not gonna approve of where I'm going, then always ask. You think it's like a child that they gotta know where you're going, but you gotta be mindful. Things happen in the world. Things happen in the world, and you don't want to be caught up or mixed up in some kind of confusion. Because if you're caught up and mixed up in some kind of confusion, that means, let me break it down to you. Uh, uh, Key point right here. So if I go, I say, well, I'll be back. Where you going? Well, you don't need to know where I'm going. I'm grown. That's what a lot of people say. I'm grown. You don't need to know where I'm going. But if that's the person that you're with, then why not they know where you're going? So key point right here. I'll be back. Where you going? You don't need to know where I'm going because I'm grown. So you just throw them out the house, right? They get a phone call from either one of your friends. Get a phone call from one of your family members. Oh, you know which car was down there, which car was doing this, and which car was doing that. So you got to be mindful. If they already know exactly where you're going, how you're going, when you're doing it, then that person that's calling on the phone, oh, I already know that they was gonna be doing that. I already know what they was gonna be doing when they walked up the house and they said, because they already told me what they was doing. Because you don't want nobody to you don't want no outsider to be looking in your relationship and tearing down your relationship because you have a lot of haters out there that want exactly what you want. Understand what I'm saying? So if you understand that, then that means be mindful of knowing you got to have communication skills. Or if you're not going nowhere that's not important, why make a person feel that you supposed to go do this and go do that? You don't have to do that. That's where communication comes in at. That's where two people got to get together and say, you know what, I got to change for the better. I got to change for the better because I learned from all the other relationships why this didn't work and why this didn't work. You have to sit down to yourself and ask yourself, why did my relationship didn't work? Because it takes two to be in a relationship. It takes two to do something on one another. Cause so if I do something on somebody, if I do say I do something on somebody and they not knowing, then how you think that's gonna make that person feel? Like they nothing, right? And that's gonna mess up their past. That's gonna mess up their future relationships because you haven't sat down to yourself and understand what did I do wrong in my last relationship. That's why it's called healing. Once you heal and you start understanding what have I done wrong in the relationship and stop blaming everybody else in the relationship. You got to think about self when it comes to a relationship. Think about self. When I say think about self, that means you have to go through your past relationships and figure out what you was doing also, because it takes two people to be in a relationship. So you got to know what you was doing to make that person feel like how they was feeling. Hurt people hurt people. So if we know hurt people, then you have to take the time out for yourself to understand what did I do? Because it's something that you did also. So we got to be mindful of how we treat people and how we want to be treated is the same way that other person that you in a relationship want to be treated. So certain people goes by like this. So if you hurt me, they gonna hurt you. That's how relationships end. Because when they see somebody else, when they see their partner doing something, you know exactly what they're gonna do. Oh, I'm not. They're gonna have in their mind, well, I'm not gonna sit here and be dumb for them. We can be in a relationship, but I'm gonna do my own thing too. Because you don't have no communication skills with one another. You have to sit down and have communication with the person that you're with, and things will work out a little bit more smoother in a relationship. You're still gonna have your ups and downs, but the key point is communication. We're not worried about the boundaries right now because the boundaries should have already been set. If you're starting a relationship, boundaries should have already been set. So we ain't talking about that right now. We're talking about communication because a lot of people don't have communication. And when you get to that adulthood, you got to start opening up with yourself a little bit more. Get out of the shyness and open up and talk to your person because the shy don't come around. The shy don't come around when you want to argue, right? You're not shy when you want to argue. Why be shy when you having communication with the person that you say you love? So be mindful of that. So we all know exactly what we got to do, right? Key point, communication. Start making somebody feel the way that you want to be felt. Wait, hold on, did I get it right? Start making somebody feel the way that you know that you're supposed to feel. If you know that you want to feel loved in a relationship, you got to dish love out. If you want to argue all the time, go get a bum. Don't argue with them because everybody don't want to be. Everybody don't want to sit there. Now, a lot of people, a lot of folk don't want to sit there and just argue all day because it's much better to have a relationship where you have some boundaries set, communication skills are good, and both of you guys are healed from your past relationships and not holding on to past relationships and not sneaking calling your ex, not worrying about what your ex doing because at the end of the day, if it didn't work the first time, why you trying to be back on the phone with them and talk to them and ask them for this and that? Oh, do you remember my old password and all that stuff? That's you know what that is? That is a key point of trying to get back in that person's life and seeing what that person is doing. You shouldn't have no feelings, or you're gonna have feelings, some kind of feeling. You shouldn't have no worries about what that person is doing or who they doing it with. Why? Because it's gonna mess up your future relationships. So sit down with yourself today, grab hold to yourself, and ask yourself, what have I have done in the relationship? Because we all look over that. We all blame the person. We all blame the person. Oh, they did me like this. They did me like this. But it takes two to be in a relationship. So ask yourself today, what did I do why the relationship didn't work? You understand that? So if you understand that, that's part of your healing journey to get it right in life. That's part of your healing journey to let go of all the things that you know that you have done to a person also. That's part of your healing journey. If you start understanding that, you'll start understanding that the next relationship that you get in will be your best relationship. Okay? So always remember, be mindful of other people's feelings when you're in a relationship. Be mindful of that. So if you know that you bought a Snicker bar, buy them a Kit Kat. If you know that they like Snickers just like you, get 2 Snickers. And don't say both of them is for you. Don't be greedy like that, okay? Be mindful of how you treat a person when you want to be in a relationship with a person. Okay, be mindful.
Thank you all for giving Coach Kizzy an opportunity to lift you up for today. So if God say the same, Coach Kizzy will uplift you on another day, and always remember that God loves you, and so do I.